But I want to thank everybody for Zooming in tonight. What I like to do is spend about 30 minutes just giving a presentation about the product and all the incredible benefits it can have for your health, body and mind. Everybody wants to have optimal health. So what is that? It's disease-free. Nobody wants, no matter how old you are or how young you are, you don't want to have a disease. Optimal stamina, you want to have the most energy you can have in your life, and vitality, minimal premature aging, not just quantity. The most important part is quality right now, and you want to have the ultimate quality in life and a feeling of well-being and happiness. If you're not happy and you don't have well-being, your cells are listening to that. They're listening to you saying, oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I feel disease. You got to say, oh, I feel great. I feel alive. I have energy. It's going to affect everybody around you as well. Optimum nutrition is the medicine of the future. This was twice Nobel Prize winning Linus Pauling. I mean, I know a lot of you have seen this, but he says by giving the body and the cells the right molecules, optimum nutrition, most disease would be eradicated. We're going to be talking about metabolic syndrome tonight. 85% of disease today is metabolic syndrome. It can all be reversed with the right energy. It's all in the cell. Everything happens in the cell. That's where energy comes from. That creates new cells, that creates new tissue, bones, organs, brain, you name it. That's what it's all about. That cell has to have the right food in order for it to create energy, ATP, but also to regenerate. This is what it's all about. Functional food for the cell. You got your α-PSP producing ATP, bioenergy. ATP is like the gasoline in your car. That's what makes it go. That's what makes you go. Every cell, mitochondria, produces this ATP. Now, ATP has to have the right form of food, whether it be the carbohydrates or the proteins, in order to perform its function. And it needs the right enzymes. Enzymes are thought to be the spark of life. Now, this proves it in so many respects. This is not just a cell food. It is a stem cell food too. A stem cell is like your mother cells. That's the first one you ever had. Associates, Dr. Ann Steele, she was chief stem cell scientist at Johns Hopkins. She developed the heart stem cell for heart transplants. Well, she took this product, she was so impressed with it, into her lab, and she took heart tissue, you see that, and what they usually do to create stem cells from this heart tissue is they culture it with all these growth hormones and drugs and antibiotics, so many things. You can see the growth there they get in their regular medium. Now look when they added AlphaMeta. Isn't that phenomenal? Not only are there hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands more, but what impressed her the most is she said they were alive. They were vibrant. It was like they were ready to go to work. This is what the concept is all about. You collect the most complete form of sun energy through the best selected rice. Transfer energy to the human body by proprietary process. Now, AlphaMeta is not just rice. We're talking about mechanical hydrolysis and the bioavailability, where it goes right into the cell and none's wasted, and to start production of complete energy and full of function for all vitality. They showed at Cambridge University that the cell has this amazing ability to recognize good food from bad food, and food that it's not going to get optimal energy from. You know what it does? It stores it, fat, or eliminates it if it can, So that's why it's so important for the cell to be able to recognize this food as a life force. It's one of the most primitive foods on the planet. I mean, it goes way, way, way back centuries. Heritage food for human beings, recognized by cells, digestible, absorbable, hypoallergenic. Rice is not allergenic. The body does not reject it. So it's an original raw food for you. Special things is this of the AlphaMeta is a stabilization technology. This is probably the only company, the only one I know of, who's able to stabilize this rice or any grain, prevents oxidation of raw material, maintains freshness, high pressure and low temperature for manufacturing. You don't use high temperatures. prevents deterioration of nutrients. This is rancid rice on the left under the microscope. You can see the mold, the fungus, and this isn't when it's extremely old, you'll see shortly, and look at stabilized rice. They're able to keep it from oxidizing. You can see here, we did a study to show this where we send it to a independent lab for assays. And you can see here white rice in 2 weeks, look, it should be below 5%. They do not feed grain to pigs in Canada if it's above 4%. That's their level of free fatty acids or oxidation or rancidity. Look at white rice. This is why white rice is not so beneficial for you. Even brown rice, within 2 weeks, it's above it's 7-8%. But our stabilized brown and white rice, when it's stabilized, look at it even after 2 weeks, it's only like 2 or 3%. Dr. Somchai picked out one particular homily rice, which was the best. Now it's the rice berry. 1 year of cultivation period. Many rice farmers could grow 2 or 3 crops a year. I don't know, maybe even more, but this is 1 a year so that you have the best nutrients in the soil possible. And it's exclusively for AlphaMeta production. No chemical fertilizers, no pesticides, no herbicides, natural biological control. You can go to the farm there and you see the ducks in the field. There's the fishes, there's the worms, the frogs. It's just a beautiful environment. Eco-balanced cultivation, European organic certification, USDA, which we have, the Healthier Choice program from Singapore, and it's a halal certificate. All that's very important to get a high quality product. And we do independent assays with SGS, which is one of the largest assay companies for foods in the world, and maybe the largest. Microorganism free, heavy metal free, and 100% safe for consumption. So you're getting the highest quality product available with the AlphaMeta. Everybody's probably been exposed to the virus. So it has to do with how strong your immune system is. So you activate those immune cells, the T cells, NK cells, which strengthen immune response, regulating and balancing the cytokine storm action in the body to reduce the severe body inflammations due to the immune response. COVID, and now also with the Omicrons and the other variants, the problem is the inflammation it creates. The body's autoimmune system gets overstimulated and it starts even attacking itself. We have to modulate, which means be able to balance that inflammation. So it's not too extreme, but it's not too insufficient, right? Provide nutrients, helping to reduce inflammation, speed up the cellular repair and rejuvenation. Now, if they had AlphaMeta, it would be such a blessing for them. Helps prevent hypoxia, low oxygen, strengthen immunity to fight bacteria and virus infections. I have not heard of anybody who takes AlphaMeta on a regular basis having a very severe state of COVID, of inflammation and such. Metabolic dysfunction is the cause of chronic diseases. 85% of disease today is related to syndrome X, metabolic syndrome, cause of premature aging and causes syndrome X. Metabolic dysfunction, increased inflammation, increased free radicals. I think everybody's heard about free radicals. Formation of free radicals, look at that. You've got radiation, the faulty metabolism, inflammation, air pollution. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. But what it does, it affects the DNA of the cell. And everybody knows what DNA is. It's the key. 85% of antioxidants needed by the body on a daily basis have to be created in the liver. And you need very specific amino acids to do that. Well, guess where you can get them? AlphaMeta is just 100, provides the amino acids you need to create these antioxidants. Now, I just want to briefly touch on the immune system here. But what I want to show, you can see first line defense, skin, mucous membrane, the cilium, the lungs, stomach acid, urine flow, all of those first line. Look at the second line. Every one of them is a cell. I won't even mention them all. Cell, cell, cell. You've got to be able to produce these cells with the right amino acids, which is AlphaMeta, but you've got to have the right fuel for them to perform their job, to have the energy. This is what creates this, the trillions of cells in our body. Enzymes are they help the communication. They're one of the keys between cells. If cells don't communicate, they die or they go crazy and they become cancerous or whatever happens to them, they mutate, but they've got to have this spark of life between them to communicate and to create new ones. It's almost like making babies. You got to have that spark between people, right? But when you look above that, enzymes for energy production, sodium K ATPase and ATP synthase. Okay, you've got to have those enzymes to produce energy. You've got to have AlphaMeta. Well, I mean, you can get it from other sources, but not like this pure source and powerful, empowering source of the carbohydrates, the right form to form these enzymes and amino acids in order to perform that purpose, to produce this ATP. And that's your source of energy, ATP, that's your powerhouse. This is the developer of this product, Dr. Sunshine. He's all about help heal the world. Energy determines the survival of all life. Low energy and energy metabolism problems are the main cause of our body impairment, metabolic syndrome, 85% today, and it's all reversible. There's not a drug that reverses hardly any disease. I think it can slow them down, it can change the course of it, but all of them, practically all of them have side effects, and none of them reverse disease. You've got this power inside you to do that. AlphaMeta provides a solid base to support good health and keeps our body cells active. That's the essence of it all. Skin beauty, where we took a group of people, and you can see here that in 4 weeks, there were 27, there were between 25 or 23 and 30 people. Wrinkles reduced 81%, pores noticeably less noticeable, 66, smooth skin, 88, firming skin, 70%, skin moisturized, 85, brighter skin, 85% of these people in 4 weeks. That's phenomenal. The 34%, 38%, and the 70% after only 90 days of taking out alpha-PSP below the 150. All of these were above 150, 88%. Down to 11, and only 11% were below that of this study group of 700 people. Isn't that amazing? Only after 90 days, look at the improvements. As I mentioned earlier, diabetes is probably the #1 cause of degenerative disease today. But look at this improvement. 70s, 80s, 90s, the reduction in these particular illnesses after 90 days. That's phenomenal. That saves life. You can see here that this was 100 individuals, the staff. These were doctors and nurses that we chose. They didn't change anything. They're under so much stress you can't imagine. We showed how the alpha-PSP can increase the HDL, the beneficial cholesterol. You can see these increases in HDL after 3 months. Look at that. That's phenomenal. You've got to have that HDL, that good cholesterol. Your liver produces it. That is so important. Alzheimer's, so sad. So we did a study at PMK Institute, Emory University of Medicine, where we took the brain cells. And here you see the control. They're dying, from this hydrogen peroxide, neurotoxin, brain toxin. Look when we bathed them in the PSP, the AlphaMeta. Look at the difference of how many brain cells were protected. That's going on in your brain, your whole body, when you take the AlphaMeta. That's what happens. I mean, this research proves it.